It started like any ordinary quiet afternoon. The sunlight poured lazily through the windows, and the house felt still and calm. I had just come back from a long day, tired and ready to change into something more comfortable. As I walked into my room and slipped out of my jeans, I grabbed a soft cotton dress from my closet. Lost in thought, I didn't hear the door open behind me. When I turned halfway, there he was, Adam, my cousin, frozen at the doorway, eyes wide in shock. He immediately looked away and mumbled, "I'm so sorry, I didn't know," then shut the door behind him. I stood there, stunned, not because I felt exposed, but because of the look on his face. It wasn't perverse or amused, it was something deeper. Something that felt heavy, real. I quickly got dressed, heart pounding, not from fear, but from confusion, maybe even curiosity. When I stepped out, he was gone, probably pretending like nothing happened. That evening, I caught myself watching him. He was quieter than usual, more cautious. When our eyes met, he always looked away. But he didn't look guilty. He looked sincere. There was a softness to him I hadn't noticed before. Dinner passed in silence. The clink of utensils, the only noise in a room filled with thoughts. I couldn't stop thinking about what had happened, not the awkwardness of it, but the strange tenderness that followed. It felt like something shifted, not just in him but in me too. Lying in bed that night, I couldn't sleep. His apology echoed in my head, not dramatic, just honest. I wasn't thinking of him as just a cousin anymore. He wasn't just the guy who borrowed my charger and finished the cereal. He had seen me in a vulnerable moment, and reacted with such respect, it rattled me. I wasn't scared of being misread, I was scared of how badly I wanted to understand. That look in his eyes. I tried to convince myself it meant nothing, a passing incident. But deep down, I knew better. Something had begun, quietly but surely. And in the days that followed, the silence between us began to carry meaning. He acted normal, maybe too normal. But I noticed the subtle shifts, the way he paused before entering a room, how he always made sure doors were closed, the way his eyes softened when they landed on me. I pretended not to see it. But something in me had already changed. I started noticing the little things, his gentle tone with my mom, how he waited for everyone to eat first, how he listened carefully when others spoke. We began spending more time together, without planning it. He'd linger in the kitchen while I cooked. I'd join him on the balcony when he read. Our conversations were simple, but the silences between them were loud. One afternoon, I saw him trying to fix the old bookshelf. I teased, "You could have just asked for help." He smiled, not just with his mouth, but with his eyes. "I was trying to impress you," he replied, almost too casually. I asked, "Why would you want to impress me?" He hesitated, then brushed it off with a laugh. But in that pause, I heard everything he wasn't ready to say. That night, I couldn't stop thinking about his words. Not because it was a joke, but because I knew it wasn't. Without realizing it, I started writing again. Pages about him, his smile, his calm, his kindness. I didn't want to admit it, but I was falling. Slowly, surely, deeply. Still, doubts kept me up. Was I imagining things? Was he just being nice? But deep down, I knew I wasn't alone in this. Then came the night of the power outage. The lights went out, and we laughed, searching for candles. The warm glow made everything feel softer, closer. I gave him a cup of coffee. He took it with a quiet smile. We sat close, barely touching, but breathing the same air. Our talk drifted, like it always did, from films to memories to future dreams. He opened up about a time he felt lost. I listened, truly listened on, felt a wall come down between us. When he looked at me after sharing, I saw that same look. Again, not guilt-longing, as the rain tapped against the windows. We didn't move. I laughed at something he said, then leaned my head on his shoulder. He froze, then exhaled, settling into it. We sat like that, still and safe. Then he said, quietly, "I need to tell you something." My heart skipped. I turned toward him. "I didn't mean to see you that day," he said, "but I haven't been able to forget it. Not because of what I saw, but because of how I felt after. It changed something in me. I started seeing you differently." "I know," I whispered. "I felt it too." That silence after wasn't awkward. It was peaceful. He reached for my hand. I let him. No fear, no second thoughts, just understanding. We didn't say the word love. Not yet, but something had rooted itself in us, quiet, deep, and real. The next morning felt different, not dramatic, just calm and certain. We didn't try to define it or rush it, we just let it grow. Like sunlight easing into a room without asking for attention. He became more present, more intentional. He listened fully, noticed when I was tired before I even spoke. His presence became my peace. And I found myself laughing more, breathing easier, smiling without reason. The small things meant the most now: an umbrella shared in the rain, a private smile across the room, a joke passed under the table. We both knew the world might never understand. We were cousins, after all. But what we had didn't feel wrong. It felt earned, grown from trust, not impulse. One night, watching stars, he said, "I've never felt this way before. It scares me, but it feels real." I met his gaze. "Me too," I said. Like something I didn't even know I was waiting for finally arrived. From there, we stopped holding back. We talked about our future, how we'd protect this bond, how we'd move forward. He wasn't just someone I cared for. He was someone I trusted with every piece of myself. He didn't make promises he couldn't keep. He simply showed up. Every day, in the quietest, most meaningful ways. That accidental moment in my room, I no longer saw it as awkward or shameful. It was the beginning of something fragile, beautiful, and true. Love doesn't always knock loudly. Sometimes it slips in quietly, changes everything, and shows you a part of yourself you never knew existed. And once it begins, it doesn't leave. It stays.